Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar with LMBL Seminars. And today we're talking about SM&CR, the Senior Managers and Certification Regime, and what's changing as we move throughout 2026 and into 2027. So this session is designed to give you a practical and up-to-date overview of the regulatory expectations, the key reforms and enforcement trends. I'm Robert Bell, so a brief introduction to myself. My background's law and then financial services compliance, working in-house in a number of compliance and legal roles, always in financial services. But since 2013, I've been running RB Compliance Consultancy, doing all the typical stuff you'd expect from a consultancy company. But one of the things we do, of course, is FCA applications on behalf of firms and senior managers as well as providing the general consultancy advice to our clients around their SM&CR frameworks. So I'm taking all of that and bringing that knowledge and experience into today's session. Of course, one of the key things I have to do is stay up to date with regulatory changes, which we'll be running through today. So in this session, we'll cover the FCA and the PRA's approach to SM&CR. We'll look at updates to fit and proper assessments and what's happening in that arena, particularly around non-financial misconduct. We'll look at any developments in line with the conduct rules. We'll look at the interaction that the Consumer Duty has had on every area, right, of financial services compliance, and SM&CR is no different. Kind of in line with that, we'll look at a few enforcement trends and lessons to be learned from any recent enforcement actions. And finally, we'll look at the latest reforms and expectations. Obviously, the latest reforms being brought in stages. We'll bring you up to date with those at the time of recording, of course. So let's begin with the core principles of SM&CR. I always think that's a really good starting point to remind ourselves of what the regime is all about. And it's made up of three elements, of course, with the top element, if you like, the senior managers regime, as the part of SM&CR which keeps those senior decision makers accountable. So the scope of that top part of the regime is your senior decision makers. Those individuals are the ones that need to apply to the FCA. So you can't undertake a role within a senior manager function role within a firm for currently longer than 12 weeks. That will change, obviously, with the reforms. We'll take you through that today. But you can't do that for longer than 12 weeks without having approval by the regulator.